In my experience, there's no such thing as male or masculine lighting. Lighting works for everybody, but there is something to be said for having a male subject and harder, edgy lighting. They tend to work really well together, and that's exactly what I'm going to explore in this video with 3 different lighting techniques, all using 1 or 2 basic flashes. Now, if you want to see what I'm using, there's links in the video description down below. So little to read down there, you might as well give it a thumbs up whilst you're down there. And I've got a dark background, I've got a flash, and I don't think there's anything else. So let's go to modeling, let's get shooting. Yeah, and that is it, I think. Done. To help me out today, I've got the amazing Jack. Jack's going to be the model for this photo session, and before I get going with any of the lighting setups, I actually need to set my camera up. So let's start there. I'm going to put some settings in that aren't going to change throughout this entire session. I've got a flash sync speed 250th of a second, which is my camera's flash sync speed. Yours might be slightly different. f5.6 for a reasonable depth of field. ISO 200, and when my flash doesn't fire, this is the photo I get. No flash, no picture, none of the rim lights are going to interfere with our photos. The thing that probably separates this type of lighting from anything else is the light modifier I'm using. Normally it's all soft light and big soft boxes. Not today. No, today I'm using a 7-inch reflector for a hard light. And it's not the light that's hard, it's the fall off between the shadows and the highlights. I really want that crisp edge, and this little reflector is going to do the job for me. Where to put it is a good question. Let's just leave it here, see how it looks. Okay, Jack, quick little test photo. Here we go. And it looks really crisp, which is what I'm looking for this style of lighting. However, it's not quite the light position I'm after. The first lighting look I'm going to do is either Rembrandt lighting or loop lighting. They're basically similar in design. To show you that, it's much easier just to turn everything on and have a look, see what we get. So one feature that's going to make this so much easier from this point onwards is the built-in modeling lamp of the Flashpoint Explore 300. I can see where the shadows are going to go, and this lighting look is all about the shadows. I've got my light positioned higher than Jack and around about 45 degrees, more or less. And I'm going to look at the shadows and see where they go. Jack, can you just turn your head a little this way and then a little this way? There, hold that there, that's perfect. So by turning Jack's head slightly to the side, I can create the perfect triangle on the opposite cheek to the light, giving me Rembrandt light. Jack just looks straight down the lens. And straight ahead, I get that little loop of light, which gives me loop lighting. Now, both of these are quite specific lighting positions, so if Jack moves too much, I'll need to move this light, but we'll worry about that in a minute, because now I want to fix the opposite side, which is a bit sort of shadowy and dark, and for that, I need a second light. This light is going to be a separation light, and its job is exactly what it sounds like. It's got to separate Jack from this dark background, and it does it by putting a little bit of light just on his shoulders, on his ear, and just lifts that part of the picture. But I don't want it too bright, so I've set it 2 stops underneath the key light, so it meters at f2.8. It's not an exact science, you can change it as you go along, but that's a good place to start. Let's see how it looks. And it looks really good. So we still have that little triangle of light on Jack's cheek, that Rembrandt look, and that little separation light just lifts him away from the background. And that is basically this lighting setup done. So Jack, are you ready?
Ready.
Let's take a few photos like this. Here we go. If Jack moves to maintain that Rembrandt or loop lighting look, then I've got to move the light as well. And again, I can use the modeling lamp to see exactly where the shadows are going to go and get everything in the right place and maintain that little triangle on Jack's cheek. The second look, I've moved the light round to the side, and I've moved the light round to the side because Jack was moving around. And as I said earlier, if Jack moves, I need to move the light, because if I take this picture with where Jack's looking right now, what I'm actually getting is, well, Rembrandt lighting effectively with that little triangle. But if the light stays still and Jack moves, Jack, do you want to just look straight down the lens? Then the results are going to be very different. Now I'm getting split lighting because the lighting is coming in right from the side. It's lighting one side of Jack, there's nothing the other side putting any light in. I've turned the background light off and the result is, well, half lit, half in shade, split light. I'm going to turn off the modeling lamp, I don't need that at the moment. I can see what's going on and I'm going to turn on that background light. Now I'm not going to change the power, I'm going to leave it exactly as it was before. And it does exactly what it did before, which is to put that little separation light on Jack. And although it works, it's not quite what I'm after for this particular setup. So I'm going to move it. I'm going to put it in behind Jack, facing the background. So it's going to be a background light rather than a separation light, but it's still going to separate Jack out from this background by making this background just a little bit brighter. And the easiest way to test is to, well, leave it exactly where it was before and see what we get. And by absolute chance, I think that's exactly what I'm after. That's basically this lighting setup done. So Jack, are you ready? Ready. Okay, let's take a few photos like this. Here we go. To complete this set of images, I'm actually going to take this light and move it even further round behind Jack, something like this. Now, I don't have to re-meter this because it hasn't actually got any further away from Jack than it was before, so the amount of light reaching Jack is going to be exactly the same. It's just the direction of light that's changed. And with that in mind, let's see how this looks. And spoiler alert, this is not going to be a good lighting look, but we'll try it anyway. Here we go, Jack. Yeah, I mean, we've still got that background light, I've left that on, and we don't really have much else going on Jack because no light's reaching his face. I'm just going to turn the background light off temporarily, and then I'm going to fix this problem by changing one thing. Jack, can you spin yourself around so you're facing me this way? So now I effectively have a profile picture. Jack's looking not at the camera, but towards the wall, but a little bit of light will reach his eyes. The second light I'm going to put back, well, basically where we started. I'm going to put it in as a separation light, but now it's going to be a rim light because this is rim lighting. It's going to go up there, something like that. And once again, I'm going to keep it on 1/64th power. We know from earlier that it's 2 stops less bright than the key light, and I think I'm going to be happy with that. And that is the rim lit look done. All we've got to do now is take a few photos. So Jack, are you ready? Ready. Okay, let's go for it. Here we go. And this lighting position is just a little bit more forgiving, which means Jack can get off the stool and actually stand up. These 3 simple lighting setups aren't for everyone. They are quite edgy and moody, but they can work potentially for anyone, and they're really easy to set up. Now, if you've enjoyed this video or you've got any questions, leave me a comment down below, check out the gear links and give it a thumbs up whilst you're down there. And of course, if you haven't already done so, click on that subscribe button. I'm Gavin Hoey. Thanks for watching.